Welcome back from the break. We are having a conversation on broken or dysfunctional families and just how to navigate that to points of wholeness and health. We have covered quite a bit in the first part of the show. In this second part, I'll start with you, John, about the work you do with fathers and sons.
Mainly it's creating an environment where fathers step up, biological fathers, supplementary fathers, and standing fathers step up to be there for their children. And this is because we have rising number of children in schools in our society who grow up without a father's presence. And we cannot ignore the fact that there is a need that a father meets in a child, and there's a need that a mother meets in a child. And so for the father, it is affirmation, affection, acceptance in a masculine voice. And so what we do is organizing mentorship in schools, where we bring in men, and we just graduated 50 boys.
Wow.
Last year. And so we are starting with another group this year. And the change that we see is, because most of these boys actually come from single parenting families. Most of them, they are annoyed about their fathers and what their fathers did. So bringing an aspect of reconciliation whereby it is okay to forgive someone. And as someone said, forgiveness, forgiving someone is an apology that you never received. Just accepting that indeed I can continue from here.
Yeah.
And the other thing that we are addressing is drugs and crime among the young people. And that way we have partnered with different people and training mentors, and not just parents and teachers, but also law enforcers, to know that bullets, they don't solve problems.
Yeah.
The best thing is to see that this is your son, this is your daughter, do what you ought to do as a man.
Yeah.
And calling them out and working with them is the best thing you can do. Yeah.
Wow.
So, and lastly, we're about to launch another book that is Brave Hearts, for the boys, so that we build a critical mass of boys who can mentor their younger brothers, not only in schools but also in society. Wow. And I know that there is hope for this country and this continent.
So you've spoken to majority of the boys that you mentor come from single mother families.
Yes.
And that speaks to either their dads are dead or their dads are alive.
Yes, or absent.
And it's what we call deadbeat fathers. So you're able to reconcile, find their dads.
Yes, and actually the case that she presented about where a child comes from a family where parents are not together, we have those cases even today. And I remember some of these boys, one of them coming and asking, as in, what do I do to my dad? Because he's not talking to my mom, and they sleep in different bedrooms, and sometimes they insult each other, but when we shout, they come and beat us. So is it allowed for adults to fight, but not for the children?
Wow.
So you see, this child gets confused because of what is being projected in that institution.
Yeah.
And for the ones who have had, let's say, deadbeat dads or even deadbeat moms, what we tell them is that, you see, you don't respect people because they deserve it. You respect people to actually offer them dignity. Because if you are really empowered as an individual, your empowerment should determine how you dignify other people. And so taking up that responsibility to say, yes, this is what my dad did, this is what my mom did, but I choose to respect them and I choose to dignify them, because they are also victims of certain experiences that they are not willing to face.
Yeah. So what happens, Washeke, when, okay, assuming you're past 25, and you realize that, wait a minute, you have another family, like this one of your parents has another family that you had no clue about. You see, nowadays, I think men are a bit obvious. You know, you'll have to be there for a blind woman in the house or man to not know that there's another family. I think now there's a bit more openness, I think. But back in the day, it wasn't there. You didn't know that your parents were cheating on each other. But then you get to a certain age and there's actually another family, and those kids even have your names.
Yeah.
You know, like as psychotic as it sounds, their firstborn is the name of this other family, secondborns. So how does this, what I want to call the original family, deal with the news or the truth that there's another family that exists, and those are your step brothers and sisters, and you must embrace them or not?
I think, as you have mentioned now, the individual is old enough. Of course, they are old enough to say that those were the choices of my mother and the choices of my father. They might feel initially betrayed, especially if this other family came after them or before them, whichever, because it could be both ways. But really, it is for you to reconcile and say those were their choices. And you are able to make your own choices, the way you want to approach life and to approach the concept of family. Because every individual, children are brought up, of course, by their primary caregivers, who are fundamentally the parents, socialized by the society, and that's where they pick up either stereotype and biases. So if the stereotype was that there can never be blended families, or there can never be another family, or somebody may not have made a mistake, or whatever it is, then of course they will feel really bad. But if the parent had owned up and said, by the way, we have another family, or you have other brothers, and made an effort, then the betrayal is less, and things happen, really. An individual, today we have girls who get children when they are still in school and go back to school and later. Okay, so all these are circumstances, situations and events that could have happened in an individual's life that caused these other children your fellow siblings to exist. So I think the most important thing is to know the truth, and then make peace with that truth. And then fundamentally as a person, then take your own choices as an individual and say, this is the way I want to raise my own family, and this is the way I want to grow, and these are the perspective I want to form in life for myself as an individual.
Yeah. Jackie, is there any obligation on this original family to be friends or relate with this other new to them family?
There's no obligation, but they're your relatives. They're the first people that you might look for if you need an organ.
But there's no relationship there.
The blood.
Oh, an organ.
A kidney.
A kidney. They're the first ones you'll reach to.
You're so extreme.
Unfortunately, they might be the ones you need to call.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't think the situation that you're talking about is what happens kitambo. It happens even today.
Yes.
Yeah, even today.
Yes.
I have had clients who are youth who have come and realized, you know what, I've just realized that I have siblings. And maybe because they are the kids, they didn't know and the mother didn't say. The mother knows about the betrayal and has been dealing with it, has been hurting all over all this time.
Yes.
And when you hear about it as a child, you know, it hits you the first time. So these situations are there. And
So what happens if you marry your step?
now that is the burden that parents need to also know about their actions.
Yes.
Yeah. When we talk about dysfunctionality, what I want to say is that dysfunctionality is, even in the healthy families, we have a bit of dysfunctionality.
Yeah.
Because families are made by human beings. Human beings are imperfect people. There's no way we will build perfect things.
No.
So each family has a bit of dysfunctionality. It becomes a dysfunctional family when the dysfunctionality occurs throughout, day in, day out. In the healthy families, there's a bit of dysfunctional for two hours, one day, tempers flare, blah, blah, and with time we regroup. And that is the part of being human being. So all of us have a dysfunctionality that we've come from home with. I am a counselor. So one of the things that in counseling sessions we start with is, tell me about your childhood. And you realize that all of us, we have some dysfunctionality that has been attributed by our childhood wounds. Now, we are talking about dysfunctional families because the wounds that people in dysfunctional families carry are bigger and are deeper. But all of us need to sit down and No. Nobody is given a free ticket. Oh, your family was not dysfunctional, so you don't have any wound. You're good to go. There's no ticket like that. Each and every one of us needs to heal from the dysfunctionality of their family, because we were raised by dysfunctional people in some way.
Yes.
And we also have dysfunctionality in us. As much as I know this, I'll also give my kids some dysfunctionality because I am human.
Yes.
That they need to also better it and overcome it.
Yes.
So we need to check ourselves and heal our dysfunctionality. One of the reasons why parents are dysfunctional in the family, no parents wants to be dysfunctional, by the way. Deep inside, they really want to be good parents. Maybe it's also wounds from their upbringing.
What he said about it's passed on.
So you just come with what you know. Your parents come with what you know. The mistakes they do, it's what they knew, or it's them trying to be trying their best. And that is what their best looked like.
Wow.
So the wounds of our families, we all owe it to each other.
Yes.
To ourselves.
Yes.
To heal them. When we talk about our daughters and you said that we don't teach them about relationships. We might sit down and teach them. You know the way that child is saying, why can't we fight and they're fighting? Why can't we make noise? Some things in the home, most of the things in the home are not taught by you should do A, B, C, D. The way as parents we live in the house, we are teaching. Every day we are teaching. So a child will also get to a dysfunctional or an abusive relationship because they learned. But you cannot be, I cannot be somebody who is in a relationship that is abusive. And then I tell my child, don't, and that is what we do. Don't ever make a mistake like mine. Don't.
Don't be like
Choose
me.
wisely. Don't be like me. But you've not taught her how to be different.
Yes.
You've not taught her what that other side that you're talking about looks like. You don't even know what it looks like.
So where does the healing begin?
From within. That's where it begins.
Yeah.
But I must say that, you see, one of the things that, that I realize is that as a society, we live a life where we don't know the purpose. Like now people getting married, we don't know why we are getting married. It's just because someone told you I love you. And that is not enough, because there must be a purpose. And where purpose is not known, you can't say that you have a vision. What I have realized is that we live a life of, we respond to pain, the wounds, family wounds, not necessarily living because we know that we are living. And so we are in families and we are hustling. And it's like when you meet in the evening, this is my hustle. And to be in this family, it's, it's a hustle. So you need to get to a place where you're not surviving.
Unprofitable hustle.
Yeah, it's uncomfortable. But yeah, I have committed to be here. But you need to get to a place where family is not a hustle. It's not a place where we abuse each other, but not forget that there are people who are so used to abuse that they take it as a value.
They have normalized it.
Yes, as in, if there is no abuse, we can't survive here. So it becomes their way of life. And that affects not only the family, it affects this child in school. The child becomes abusive. It affects this child when they start working. They become abusive and oppressive at the place of work. It affects this person when they become a leader in the society. It affects this person when they are given an opportunity to be custodians of public funds or something like that. And that's when you realize that the problems you're experiencing in this country and in this continent, they come from this one unit called the family. And so if we can address the pain by dealing with the wounds and facing the wounds, then that means when I come here, I will not be reactive.
No.
I will respond.
Yeah.
Because when I respond, there is dignity to it. When I react, I'm defensive.
Yeah.
And so I will not give you room to even express yourself and I can't hear what you are saying because what I say is more important than what you are saying.
Just to add on to that,
Yes, please.
you see, a functional family does not mean that you don't have conflict, but it means that this family has learned how to resolve the conflict. Dysfunctionality is because you're refusing to resolve the conflict, and therefore it flares up and of course it festers like a wound and become cancerous. But functional families, functionality and dysfunctionality is not a fixed point. It's a broad range of there's a room to play whereby there is conflict, yes, of course, but we have learned how to resolve conflict in a healthy way. We are well-adjusted individuals that are, and we believe we believe we are able to resolve this conflict.
So what happens to those ones who do not admit they are wounded?
You see, fire burns whether you say yes or no. Whether you say, I don't believe fire burns. That it doesn't stop burning.
True.
Yeah, because people walk in denial. It's a bit easier.
Yeah. So most of us actually do not do the self-work.
Self.
Yes. We do a lot of other people's work. I mean, if you talk about Jackie, you know from A to Z, but you never do your self-work. Healing starts with you. Radical acceptance. What are the wounds that I carry with me? Such that with time, I will be able to respond the way he said.
Yes.
That I can be able to respond. But even when I react, I can sit down and know, Jackie,
that came from there.
Yeah, you can know where it came from. Yeah. Most of us do not know why we are angry.
Yes.
We do not know why we are wife batterers.
Yes.
We do not know why we have broken relationships. We do not know why we are not good mothers. You do not understand, I didn't like how my mother used to behave, but I find myself behaving just like her. You don't understand why, because you've not looked inward yourself. So the first place to start healing, nobody's going to give you what you've not given yourself.
That is so powerful.
Yeah, nobody's going to give you healing.
It is also important for people to understand that don't run away from pain by getting married,
Yeah.
Yes.
because
That
you can
is
escape
what
pain
people do.
by getting married. And
Absolutely.
realizing by getting married, no one can make you whole.
Yeah.
But you
Yes.
can make a whole family,
Yeah.
but no one can make you whole.
Yeah.
So don't try to fill that vacuum
Yeah.
by getting married. And I think part of the vows,
Yeah.
I think there is need to include I commit to grow, to work on me.
To work on yourself,
Yeah.
To take personal responsibility
Yeah,
over
so
Yes.
I can,
Yeah.
as part of, this is part of this journey.
Yeah.
They assume that before you go to the altar, you have done that.
Yeah.
I think the best thing to do, you should do that first.
Yeah.
Yes.
Why is it that responsibility on nurturing and growing a family heavily lies on the woman?
Society has a way of arranging itself, social arrangements. First of all, through institutions. A family is a social arrangement, and then communities, a social arrangement. But in a healthy functioning society, roles and responsibilities and accountabilities are known, both at the level of the individuals, at this social arrangement in terms of the units, whether they are families, religious arrangement, which are churches, mosques and other things, and wherever social arrangements of group age sets. All those, they were meant to make the family, the society function. So come to the family. There was a way then those social arrangements took, in terms of responsibilities, accountabilities, and roles were placed so there is harmony and there is peace and everybody is well taken care of or well resourced to function in terms of giving and taking. So when other social units within the society changed, for example, the economic arrangement. We were hunters and gatherers, and therefore the roles and responsibilities of man and woman were different. Men would go out there, when you look at their physique, well endowed to be able to hunt and bring food home, and the woman to nurture and do 1, 2, 3. Then the arrangement, economic arrangement again changed during the agrarian community. We became, that was the first organized human settlement. And therefore, when one arrangement changes, which is economic, then the social one changes, the spiritual one changes, like that. So what has happened is that the economic arrangements have moved very fast and units very quickly, and social arrangements have lagged behind. So what has happened, women have gone to work because of the economic arrangements. Now we are not just hunters and gatherers or agrarian community, we are knowledge workers, we are empowering the girl to study, to what and all that, and to bring food to the table by, you know, procuring it and buying it, not just cooking it, and contributing to the financial and economic well-being of the family. But now, in terms of the social roles, the man is still, of course, we say that he's a boss, he's the head of the family, and therefore the woman has to do the double take of nurturing and still bringing the food and still wherever. So you've been working in the office, but there's no work-life balance for the woman, because in the office is work, but even at home is work. That's what we are calling the unpaid work, which is now recognized under SDG goal number 5 of gender equality, that we have to recognize the unpaid work because of the way the woman is having a lot of unpaid work and exerting a lot of resources. So it's really now for us then to say, what works for us, that vision and purpose and all that. You see, a vision and purpose is executed.
Yeah.
So how will we execute it so that one member or one actor within this social arrangement of give and take is not overburdened?
Wow.
But can I add something
Yes.
about why women are nurturers? I think we should not fight over everything. This is the old Jackie speaking. We should not fight over everything.
Yeah.
There's something that we have that men do not have. There's some radical acceptances that we have to accept. We should know that 2 plus 2 is 4, 3 plus 1 is 4.
1 plus 3.
Yes.
0 plus 4
Is 4. So we should not think that the only way to get 4 is 2 plus 2.
Absolutely.
That is what I think we should have in mind. We are not like animals. Biology makes animals give birth, and by the end of this day, the child that the animal has given birth walks off and goes, only comes back to circle. We carry kids for 9 months. We don't give birth to them and they are able to go. They're still dependent. And even if we are to share it 50-50, they're more dependent on me than him. And that is why the mothers will be more nurturers. We will stay there more than others. Yes, things have changed, but 9 months has not changed.
Of course.
Biology has not
Pregnancy
changed.
has not changed.
Yes.
Yes.
So we have to also know some things and accept them as they are, but just modify and make it better. Know that he can do the diapers,
Yeah.
he can get you to the best maternities,
Yeah.
he can
Pick
do
and
everything.
drop the
Yes,
children.
Yeah.
yes. And that will be our 3 plus 1 is equals to
4.
4.
It
So
goes
let's
back
not
to-
sit down and look at,
And that's why we are
2
calling them
plus 2.
social arrangements.
It goes back to
They
what
may
you
not
said.
be biological arrangement as she's putting them. You cannot
Yeah.
change biology. But in terms of social setups, because they were set up by us, we can reset them again. The 0 plus 4.
I
1
think
plus
it goes
yes.
back to what you said before the show. The individual family unit determines how we want to
Function.
run this family.
yes.
So it's those two, irrespective of everything
Actually,
else.
Yeah.
you know, it becomes illegal
Yeah.
when the state becomes the determinant of what happens in the family. That's an illegal arrangement. That's not the way it's supposed to be.
But it does when you become dysfunctional.
eventually-
Yes, when it becomes dysfunctional.
Because
And
you're
you
not
see,
functional.
this response from the state
Yeah.
is as a result of a dysfunctional
Yes.
individual
Yes.
who has not accepted to deal with the pain.
Yeah.
And so as a result of projecting pain, then the state comes in.
Comes in.
But the state should also be aware that it is not state's responsibility
Yeah.
to determine what happens in the family.
Yeah.
And if you need to transform a nation, a society, a community, you need to empower people and train people when it comes to starting a family.
Yeah.
Because the question is, why don't we allow people to inject you if they have not gone to a medical school? But we allow this person to take care of 4 children and they're not prepared for it. And so we need to take more time and prepare people before they get married and not try and change them, but empowering them to have an understanding and creating that room for them where if they're expressing themselves, they can be heard in the family unit. Now, when it comes to masculinity, I would say that there are different roles in the family. But what should unite people is that vision, where you come together and agree. When we are raising children, this is the kind of children that we want to raise. But we also need to understand that communication is not something that we master in a day. Like a friend sent me a message yesterday where husband and wife went for therapy, and the therapist asked the husband, "Your wife tells me that you don't buy her flowers." And the man said, "Sorry, I didn't know she sells flowers." So the thing is, so when it comes to communication in the family and understanding, it takes different dimensions.
Wow.
But we need to be united in vision.
Okay.
But
How
you said-
can people reach you? We really need to wind up now. This conversation wasn't going to end in 45 minutes.
Yes.
Yeah.
On Facebook, John Wilson Joroge, email leadglobalimpact.com. And we're also starting a virtual mentorship session from next month on twasoma.com.
Twasoma.com.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Washeke, how can people reach you?
Yeah, you can reach me on Facebook. My page is called Become More to Do More. I'm on Instagram, and also YouTube has Washeke the Coach.
Oh, you have a YouTube channel?
Yeah, I have a
Okay.
YouTube channel, Washeke the Coach, Instagram, Washeke the Coach. And you can also email me on info@washekethecoach, as one word, .com. Yes.
Thank you very much. And Jackie?
You can reach me on Facebook, Coach Jackie Care. If you're in blended family, you can reach us also on our page, Blended Family Network. And you can call me at 0726 460 245.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, ladies, gentlemen, thank you for your time. I hope the viewers were able to glean. I've had choices, I've had individuals, and I've had vision for this family unit. And the state has no right to dictate unless you become dysfunctional. I've picked quite a bit there, and I hope you have. Hopefully, maybe we can have this conversation some time to come. But I thank you for your time and for your
Inviting us.
contributions
Thank
as
you.
well.
Thank you.
And I thank you for watching. We also thank Victoria Courts for providing us this beautiful space. They have sofas, they have tables, they have beds, they have dining sets, they have beautiful cushions, carpets as well. This is where you walk in if you want to do something in your house that looks good. So pay them a visit along Mombasa Road just before you get to Standard Headquarters. Until next week, God bless you.